Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to the Push to Pass F1 podcast. This is, again, another episode of our off-season. Today, we're going to be taking a look at all the drivers on the grid, including our new rookie. We've only got one new rookie, haven't we?
Yep.
Just Lindblad. And we have, obviously, two returning drivers, who, if you are new to F1, you might not have ever seen before. So we're just going to go through all the drivers on the grid, tell you what to sort of expect in terms of performance, in terms of stuff like personality and everything like that. And we might also go over just some of the news that's coming out this week and over last week, because we didn't put an episode out last week, just because there hasn't really been much going on. But Formula 1 is starting to kick back up again. We have the private Barcelona testing next week. We've had some liveries launched this week, and we are set to have more over the next sort of week and a half. So plenty going on. But Reef, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, mate. Not bad. Bit weird not recording a pod last week, but bumper episode this week should be all right.
Yeah, you missed it, didn't you, mate?
Yeah.
Lives and dies and breathes. Push to pass this boy. So today's episode is pretty much just going to be looking at the drivers for 2026. What to sort of expect, because with a new regulation change, there's probably a lot of people watching or listening who have probably never been through a regulation change before, and you probably don't understand a lot of it and what to expect. And there are also some new faces and new teams, etc. So we're just going to go through everything. First of all, with the new regulations, are you looking forward to them, buddy?
I am, yeah, because I don't know how successful they're going to be, but the last regulations weren't particularly a good playground for good racing. So, I think it was definitely time to change it up. I think everyone's welcoming the change. And, it always brings up new challenges. People drop off, people, rise. So I think it's exciting. It's always nice, the first year of a new regs change.
Yeah, I remember the most recent reg change we had was 2022. And it was a good year.
It was. That was, Ferrari firing on all cylinders. We thought we had a title race with Charles and Max.
But also, if you look back, 2014 wasn't the best, was it?
No, but that was just... we'll get on to Mercedes and where we think they are, but yeah.
I'm personally quite excited. There's lots of... I'd probably say I think it has been... A lot of it's been described as the biggest regulation change in Formula 1. And there's so much technical stuff which has changed. I think it's going to be really exciting, but I think it's really going to be a case of time will tell. So let's go through all 11 teams this year, because we've obviously got Cadillac joining the grid, and just sort of take you through what to expect from teams, drivers, if you're new to the sport, and hey, you might even pick up a new driver. Where do you want to start, buddy? Pick a team.
Let's start with the two old/new lads. Let's start at Cadillac.
Hey, the battle of the B drivers.
Yes.
So Cadillac, obviously new to the grid, Ferrari powered.
Yes,
I believe. And they have fielded Sergio Perez, who previously drove for Red Bull, and Valtteri Bottas, who previously drove for Mercedes and Alfa Romeo most recently. And he was there for the Sauber crossover, wasn't he?
Yeah. He raced for Sauber.
The world's best mullet. I'm really intrigued. Less so of it being a new team, more to see how this fares, because I think they're two quite level drivers.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how it goes, because you can't really expect the general performance of the car to be too good. I think they're definitely going to be towards the back. That's just matter of fact. But with the new regs change coming in, that does level things to a certain extent. And I think everyone kind of expected them to go with the new driver, like the fast rookie, and then the steady pair of hands. So I quite like that they've just gone for two drivers that have got a pedigree, and they know how to drive an F1 car. They've both got their good points. They don't really have many bad points, to be honest. There's not many faults between either of them. So
no, it's a very consistent lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, similar to what you said. I personally, we'll obviously do predictions in the coming weeks. I think they are probably going to be the slowest car, mainly just for the fact of they've obviously they're using a lot of the Ferrari parts, which they would have not had like time to get used to and stuff, and they're not obviously building a lot of stuff in house. It's their first season; they're gonna have to get used to things. I doubt we're gonna have like a Brawn sort of situation, but yeah, I think it's gonna be plenty of learnings. But I think, like you said again, they've gone for the right approach of going for consistency rather than sort of the norm. Really, with teams, because it does feel like the normality is you have one older head and one like younger, more potential rookie. But yeah, I'm really excited. But I do worry a little bit about more Perez than Bottas.
Okay, tell me why.
Because there's just something about Sergio coming off the back of that Red Bull seat and sort of stint he had, where he left in quite a bad light. I just think people might. I just don't want to see him fall under that pressure of like a new team. Whereas I think someone like Valtteri, who was I'd say more left sort of is like a mutual sort of decision.
Yeah.
And I just think he's seen as more positive, and overall I just think he's the better driver.
I agree with you in terms of what you're saying about Valtteri, but I do have a slightly different outlook when it comes to Checo. I think he said quite publicly, and Red Bull have also kind of reaffirmed it, they weren't in a good space in that last year. Either party, they were both unhappy. And I think if he wasn't ready, if he didn't think that he had what it took, he wouldn't have taken the opportunity.
Yeah,
I think this, and like Checo's class, like he's always been class. So I think he'll take it as just a chance for a clean slate. And I think as well, his stock's low. His stock's really low. Not many people are expecting much from him. And I just think he'll surprise people.
Yeah, and like looking back to obviously more of his earlier career, this sort of drive and seat and sort of position with the team is really, it was his sort of bread and butter. Like that lower midfield coming up team, getting the best out of a worst car is sort of what Perez was like renowned for. So that could help him.
That's what he made his career off. I mean, you got to remember he's like an excellent tyre saver, which is always going to help. You know, if they've got any ounce of strategy in the team, I wouldn't be too surprised if they scrape a couple points finishes.
Yeah, I look, don't expect them to be like midfield fighters. I think last year the back of the field, I don't really think there was a back of the field except for probably Alpine. There was more of just an extended midfield. You could sort of split the midfield into tiers. I think this year we're going to see more of a discrepancy between the front runners, the midfield, and the back markers, and I do think they might be one of those. If you look back to like, I can remember the Williams of like the 2020s, they'd finish the season on like 8 points, and people would see that as a good year. So I don't think you can take like a Sauber for last year, for example, they scored like 40 odd points, and people were like, "Oh, that's a really good year." Whereas I think if Cadillac this year can scrape a few points finishes together and just show consistency and development, I think they can sort of take that away as a positive.
Yeah, I 100% agree. You know, don't expect them to set the world alight, but they'll be there.
Yeah. Other new team. Well, it's an old team with a new name. Audi.
Yeah.
Finally on the grid. When that got announced years ago, didn't it?
2 years ago, I want to say.
It was a good old while ago. I think it was before Hulkenberg joined, so yeah. Obviously, same lineup, Hulkenberg and Bortoleto. Gonna be an interesting year, I think.
Yeah, I can't see them being as good as they were this year.
You see them falling off a little bit,
yes.
Or just the general like field sort of just going back into more of a normality?
I think the car is going to be slower. I don't know about for the rest of the field, but in terms of where they were this year, I don't think the results are going to be there.
They still... Well, Audi aren't making their own engine yet, are they?
No, but it will happen.
Yeah, they're doing the same as Cadillac, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're borrowing and then, yeah. Yeah, I do sort of agree. I think, like I just mentioned too, I think it will just become more of that. We'll see the normality spread come back out, just purely because it is a new set of regulations, and you know it's one of those things. You either get it spot on or you are miles off the pace, and there'll be teams trying different things. There'll be teams trying different designs, different parts, getting used to the new sort of way of racing in these new regulations. So I do think it'll be interesting, but I think their lineup will be enough to sort of help them over some certain teams.
Yeah, I mean, something that we've got to remember is there'll be hopefully a second-year leap for Bortoleto as well. No longer a rookie. Hopefully quicker. And, if he is quicker than this year, compared to Hulkenberg, then that sets him in good stead. Because there was definitely ebbs and flows last year, but you look at the head-to-heads at the end of the year, and I think Bortoleto held really good count of himself. So if we do see that second-year leap, hopefully not a sophomore slump, then that's really promising and great for Audi's future as well.
Yeah, I think they probably will look, and we'll again do some predictions for driver lineups. I think this could be it could be if not like the penultimate year for Hulkenberg.
Yeah,
because I think they might want to look at potentially having a rookie and pushing Bortoleto into their number one sort of driver. But again, like we said with Perez, Bottas, he is that perfect sort of consistency. Like he showed last season, he's that perfect head. He'll do nothing like spectacular all race, and then he'll just pop up P7, P8, and that is all they probably want and need. But yeah, I think they're in an interesting position, similar to Cadillac, where it's obviously a new name, and they're going to be taking over a lot of Sauber's operations, but I think their future under Audi has a lot more of a ceiling to grow and to probably fight more towards the front. I am just interested to see what they do, mainly in the driver market.
Yeah, well, like you say, I think they've definitely got more future fighting up the front. They've got a global brand. Yeah, everything's there. Budget, sponsors, and the driver pool. People will want to race for Audi. It's a factory team. They'll want to race for Audi. Unfortunately, although Sauber did a fantastic job, all those years, they've been a stalwart of the paddock for my time of watching F1. You can't match up against the giants, and you just don't have the sort of pull that someone like Audi would have. So it is exciting, especially for Bortoleto. Like you say, I was going to say it. You beat me to it. I think next year will be Hulkenberg's last year.
So you think he does 26 and 27?
Yeah, I think he'll do this year, next year, done.
Yeah, I think they'd have to have like an option come up that they couldn't turn down. So like if I couldn't give you an exact name, but say if like a higher up team gets rid of someone, or someone becomes available and they have the funds to just pretty much say to Hulkenberg, like, we're thinking of the future, can you step aside or can you step down a team or something? That's the only way I could see it probably going for 27. But yeah, I think that looking towards like 2028, I think they will probably be looking for a fresh driver, mainly because also Bortoleto then will have a lot more experience. But again, don't expect them to light the world on fire this year.
No, just plodding away.
Right, let's talk about Toyota.
Yeah, well, Haas, Toyota, whatever it is, basically Toyota.
We've got to talk about that livery just quickly. We will rank liveries next, when they all come out. But I am in love with it.
It is nice. I knew you'd like it. I saw it. I mean, you sent it to me as well. But I saw it and I thought, yeah, Max is going to like that. You can't go wrong with it.
No, it's just so it sounds really stupid, but the title sponsor being Toyota works with Haas because of their colourway.
Yeah.
It's like the same. It's not like that clash of like I remember when Alpine got bought by like BWT and it's that blue and pink and it looks awful.
Yeah, I can't.
It's just a nice fit.
I can't wait for when Toyota just buy Gene Haas out. I can't wait. Just having Toyota back on the grid. It's just
surely it's next 2-3 years.
I wouldn't even give them 3. I think after this year it might be done.
I think Gene couldn't care, and going from that livery, you can tell Toyota want more involvement.
Yeah, I mean they got Japanese people in the team. They've got obviously the brand up the side of it. It's exciting. I'm excited.
Obviously, driver lineup wise, they have same lineup as last year: Ocon and Behrman. In the case of Behrman, it's probably the same as we spoke about with Bortoleto. You don't want that. You want to see growth. You want to see him become even better. even more so for Behrman than Bortoleto, because there's obviously that potential chance of a Ferrari drive if things should fall into place. But Ocon is quite an interesting one, because I think he's just sort of a stopgap at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to open this up with saying I expect this to be the last season of this driver lineup.
Yeah,
I think both of them will go at the end of this year.
hey, wait for our driver predictions.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else, but I think this will be it.
In terms of what to expect from both, Ocon is, and to put it quite bluntly, a very boring sort of driver to have expectations for. Where Behrman, you can sort of say he could potentially have some performance and he could get some like shock results. I just do not trust that car.
I've been let down too many times with Esteban Ocon. I've said plenty of times that I think he's going to make a jump and stuff. I gave up about 2 years ago. I just think he'll bring it home wherever the car lets him. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, he's not going to take it past what it can do.
No, and you know what? There's a career in that, and that's kind of, I always thought Esteban Ocon would go on to do great things, but this is where he's kind of found himself with, and there's nothing wrong with that. As for Behrman's half of the garage, I expect him to be rapid. I've just got a feeling he's going to be undeniable.
I'm all aboard the Ollie Behrman hype train.
Yeah, so am I.
I was a late joiner because I was a bit inconclusive. Last year I was actually quite harsh on him, and probably wrongly so. But yeah, I think he's probably, don't hold me to this, the most exciting driver for next year.
Yeah, he's certainly one of, if not.
I think it's going to be really interesting because they're obviously not rookies anymore, and it's that same crop. It's going to be really interesting to see who kicks on now, because they're sort of all coming in. Like last year, you could say they were all coming in on a level playing field, because obviously they're all rookies, but they're all in different they're all in cars which were at different stages of their like latter development. Whereas now they are all just starting from scratch, learning new cars, learning new like techniques, technologies, everything like that. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they kick on in their second season and how they become better, if they become better. But yeah, I think Behrman is destined for the very top of the sport.
Yeah, they'll definitely one to look out on. Mainly for Behrman, and then also, like we've said, the Toyota involvement. I think that's something that's going to bubble away all season. Because I expect Gene Haas to relinquish all control. I
don't think he'll be relinquished. I think he just gives up.
As for that, that's kind of all I could say, to be honest. Performance-wise, I can't see them, tearing any trees down.
No, they are the most up and down team probably in recent history we've had. They're either 4th, 5th, or they're last in the constructors. It really depends how that Ferrari power unit works. We haven't heard a lot so far in terms of rumours about how strong it is, but from what I've heard of Ferrari parts in general, it's not looking the best.
No.
And it will probably be another season of making the most of opportunities, of probably, like we said, with Cadillac and Audi, just sort of capitalising on those races where you can grab a point where possible. Speaking of grabbing points where possible, Alpine.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Actually,
yeah.
They might have some good news, because apparently they're one of the teams who've made the weight limit thing.
Yeah, they've done it. They've managed it.
So they might have an early advantage. So when Franco Colapinto wins the World Championship, come back to this video.
Yeah. So just as a recap, because I have gone blank, same driver lineup as last year.
Pierre Gasly, Franco Colapinto.
Yes.
And they've sacked Jack Doohan as their reserve driver.
Yeah.
Well, they mutually departed.
I believe that could be mutual as well, because I imagine Jack Doohan was fed up with them. But
Flavio.
Alpine. Just Alpine. I can't see them doing anything again, to be honest.
I can fully see mid-season they selling up and someone's taking over. Mainly Christian Horner bringing in a manufacturer.
That would be interesting.
because they've obviously binned off their engine. They're now with Merc. They clearly don't see the future in F1. Otherwise, they'd keep developing their own engine. They've now got a car in WEC hypercars. I can just see them just binning it off.
Yeah, kind of all things. Now you've laid it out, all things kind of point towards that direction, which you can't really blame. The Renault Tree. You look at them as a consumer brand, and F1 really isn't what they go for. They're not a performance brand. So, although it would be a shame to lose sort of the Renault legacy, I'm sure they'll be back one day. But I think,
Oh yeah, they do what they always do, don't they? They take like 4 years off and then they come back.
it'd be exciting to see, another brand try, maybe Porsche, maybe someone else.
Oh, Porsche actually makes sense because is it Porsche who've abandoned WEC? Yeah, and I think Nissan have as well, but they're Formula E, aren't they?
Yeah, but we won't speculate too much. But as for now, yeah, Alpine. Poor Gasly.
Oh, I've got a really bad prediction for him as well.
What is it?
If they do sell up, I think it could be game over.
Could be out.
Yeah, and it's so harsh to say, but he's not getting any younger, and he's not getting any quicker, is he?
No, I mean, now you say it, kind of look around where he could go. Where does his face fit? And yeah,
He is like, how old is he?
I think he's like 29. Is he? 28, 29?
I don't know. It tells me his driver number and where he's from. Pierre Gasly, 29.
Yeah.
So to be fair, he's only a bit older than like a Verstappen, but yeah, he's also just as stupid as it sounds, that sort of Red Bull fallout was probably the end for him, wasn't it? I can see why he went. I can see why he went for the Alpine sort of dream. They went with the all French lineup for the all French team, didn't they?
I 100% see what he was thinking, and I think it was the right thing to do, because he would have. Let's be honest. If he'd stayed, he'd have been in that V carb, and he'd have exceeded expectations because that's what he was always doing. He'd have probably got another chance at Red Bull, disappointed like anyone else has, and then he'd be out on his ear anyway.
When did he join Alpine?
23. Was it? Oh no, was it 2?
Was it? No,
No,
2023.
23.
He was with. Yeah, he did a season with Yuki in the Alpha Tauri, didn't he?
Yeah, 23. So I understand what he did, and I think it was the right decision. And he might not be fully done. Something could, crop up.
He is at risk of falling into the Ocon, though, isn't he?
Oh, I think they're there. I think they're there together. They're both the same genre of driver now.
They're the exact same person. Do we talk about the other driver?
Colapinto, I think, needs to pull his finger out if he's gonna get anywhere. Cause,
Do you think he has an F1 future, realistically?
to be honest, no. And that's not because of his talent, because I really do think he's talented. I just think you've got to think reasonably. F1, they don't wait around forever. He's had half a season now, or just over half a season, plus the Williams bit. But you got to think that Williams performance was great and got him a full-time seat. But that was long ago now. That stock, all that sort of aura that he had from then is completely gone.
That Williams thing was also full of crashes.
He's got a season now. Well, hopefully a season. That can't be guaranteed either.
So he's got 4 races.
With a really not competitive platform, I don't see him showing his capabilities in time. And I think
the only
they'll
thing
look for someone else
that I think is saving him is if Alpine, and I obviously don't think they will, but if Alpine do stay in the sport as a team, they've got no driver academy coming through.
Yeah, but there's always someone else, Max. There's always someone else.
Yeah, wait until just run back Paul Aaron or something.
Yeah, there's always going to be someone waiting in the wings. And, if Colapinto gets the year, then you could say, that's a fair enough crack at the whip. That would have been about 30-odd races. He'd not shown much.
Do you remember when Colapinto was linked with Red Bull?
Yeah. I mean, maybe
weird
like you say, if Horner goes in with a brand, maybe he likes him. you never know.
Commercially,
It
he's
makes
very
sense.
attractive,
Yeah,
especially for a new team. Like, if you want an infinite money hack as an F1 team, sign him and Perez. The
yeah,
sponsorship you get is unreal. But yeah, I don't expect anything major from them too, and the car, and I expect them to give up.
yeah.
V-Carb, Racing Bulls, whatever you want to call them. Very nice livery. It's the exact same as last year.
Yeah.
But they have a new driver lineup and our new rookie, Mr. Arvid Lindblad, who I didn't realise was, and I want to make sure I'm right in saying this, I think he's Swedish-Indian.
Yes, yeah, Swedish, Indian, and British.
Yeah, he's Swedish-Indian, but he races under a British licence, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, really cool. What to sort of expect from him, nobody really knows, but a lot of people are pointing out, have you seen the Red Bull video they did? Where they had like Max, Lindblad, and Ricardo racing like Mustangs, and Lindblad was like getting quite close to Verstappen, and people were like, "Wow, he might actually be quite quick."
Yeah, but like I just hate stuff like that. I just hate
It's
stuff
so
like
funny.
that. Because like, I remember I watched a video once. It was a Red Bull video, and it was it was Liam Lawson in a rally car, and I forget the bloke's name, but there's an Irish rally driver, WRC driver. He did a lap, and then Liam Lawson had like 5 laps to get as close to his time, and he got like a second and a half like away from it. And everyone in the comments, all the armchair racers, were going, "Oh my god, like this bloke's the next generation, like generational talent. Like, oh, his car control's insane. Like, he's cracked. He's gonna do such good things." And then
He's
like
cracked.
that was just before last season, and then those very same people wanted him out after 2 races in a Red Bull.
Yeah. Please don't expect big things from either of them this year.
No, I think Lindblad's gonna be rapid. I think his
he is,
junior
but
career says it all.
That Red Bull engine is not going to be good.
No, I think he'll be quick. I'm not going to be unreasonable and expect him to be, the second
Podium.
coming of Max Verstappen, but I think he'll be fast. Everything indicates that he's going to be very successful.
We've literally spoke about Lindblad from probably the second episode of this podcast.
Yeah.
That's how much people were hyping him up through his junior career.
Yeah.
It's exciting to have obviously it's always exciting to have rookies on the grid, and it's exciting to have a rookie who people are obviously touting, but it's exciting to have someone who in a team like VCarb, there's obviously that natural progression, and it just gives him that sort of freedom role we saw with Hajar last year, where he can have those sort of up and down weekends, but you more than likely are going to back him to probably get a result based off just how good of a driver he is.
Yeah, I think he's class. I mean, we can't say too much because we've not even seen him properly, aggressively behind the wheel. But as I said, everything points to the fact that he's going to be rapid, and it's another Brit on the grid, which is always fun.
6 now of them. Is it 6?
Lewis. It's
1,
quite a
2,
lot, yeah.
3, 4, 5. No, I think it might be 5.
It would have been Albon if he obviously raced under the.
Yeah, he raced under Tide, doesn't he?
But yeah. And as for Liam Lawson, I think he's also exciting.
He finished last year in a very good vein of form.
He's a great driver. I can't remember exactly what I was saying at the time when everyone was jumping on him, saying that he was. But I'd like to think that I was pretty loyal to the fact that he's good. And what sold me on him back a couple of years ago.
Back in there.
A couple of years ago when he was in F2, and then when he dropped out of F2 and he did like Super Formula, but he also did DTM.
Yeah, he did it with Albon, didn't he?
He was fast everywhere. He nearly won the championship in DTM. Should
have won the championship.
Yeah, like he's rapid.
Yeah, I remember when he obviously got dropped by Red Bull. It obviously wasn't the best result, but it was 2 races in, and I think everyone sort of criticised the decision. And it took him a few races to get going in that V-Carb. It took him a good 4 or 5 rounds to sort of get up to speed with it, but I think that's natural. And then we saw in the latter part of the season, He was picking up more results. He was qualifying better. He just overall looked more comfortable in the car, and I think he suits that sort of VCARB environment of like a learning sort of team. He doesn't suit that front running team just yet.
Yeah, he's an exciting prospect. I don't think he has a Red Bull future, but
Oh no, but like anywhere else on the grid, if there's like an up and coming midfield team, I think if he has another good season, then his stock is only going to keep rising.
yeah,
I'm really excited about this team, so I want to talk about him. Williams.
okay.
I think they might be a rocket ship this year.
What with the Mercedes power?
With the Mercedes, really good, but they can't get it to turn on unit.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
they've got one of the best drive lineups, in my opinion.
everything points to positivity because they've got that Merc platform, which is rumored and I think is going to be true. You know, it's going to be the best on the grid. They've got, as you said, a rock solid driver lineup, which is now in its second year of partnership, which is always great, more experience. And they've got James Vowles, who I think is the mustard. I think he's top
he's
class. Yeah, he is top class, and he's exactly who they need. That was such a good appointment in the first place. But is this their third season together now?
Yeah, he would have come in with the sergeant sort of time.
And I just think it's just like it's a nice cauldron of recipe. I really do think they could be. You know what? They could. I'm gonna say it. They could be like top 3 if it goes right.
The problem is there is always an if, isn't there, with Williams?
Yeah, I mean this is before testing. Watching out testing, they'll be bang average. But I don't
They
know.
were bang
I've got a
average
really
last year in
good.
testing. No, they were really good in testing last year.
I've got a really good feeling about it, especially if Ferrari have dropped the ball again. That's a big contender out of it.
Red Bull look off it. Allegedly.
They will be circling Williams if they've done it right. They will be circling.
But then it's also how do they take that step? Because obviously, like, James Vowles has been so sort of vocal about this new regulation change, and like he's stressed how important 2026 2027 is, to the point where he was literally telling his drivers, you can crash the car, we only care about like this new regulation and this new sort of era for Williams. And their driver lineup is probably going to stay the same for a long time, in my opinion. They have no reason to change it if they both perform. But just based off history and probably the past, I don't even know, like 14, 13 years now with Williams, they just always feel like they've got this hype and it's going to be better and this year's going to be their year, and then it comes to the season and it just doesn't deliver. And I hope that they do, because Williams is such a huge name in Formula One and they're such a likeable team, in my opinion, that you just want to see them do well.
What I'm intrigued to see is if I'm expecting it to be a rocket ship in a straight line, but we've had this before where it's absolutely rapid in a straight line, but it just doesn't really turn great.
No, Williams is always good in a straight line. They're just never good anywhere else.
Yeah, but I'm really hopeful.
You really think they could be top 3?
I wouldn't put my life on it, but if they were on par with top 3 and they would regularly get in like top 5s podiums, I wouldn't be that surprised.
The only team I could, because I'm with you. I think if you've got a Mercedes power unit, you're pretty much sorted for the year. So I'm quite interested to see how they perform, in terms of, obviously you expect Mercedes and McLaren to both be really good. It just depends how Williams can sort of follow that with their own ideology and with their own approach, whether they take sort of a similar approach to Mercedes or if they're allowed to, because obviously in the past we've seen teams use the same sort of ideologies as their engine suppliers, or whether James Vowles just sort of says we're going to do our own thing and hope it works.
In theory as well, because they're a worse manufacturer, they'll have more concession time, more wind tunnel time.
Yeah, where did they finish constructors? 5th?
What I'm saying is it's more than their counterparts. If I'm saying that they're going to be a top 5 team, they'd have had more. So, which is also a positive.
All things point to the future. But yeah, I'm similar to you. I think they will be in around that both drivers in and around the top 6 sort of area consistently.
Yeah.
Moving on to a team who, in my opinion, are very much need to perform this year. And that's Aston Martin.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I know exactly what you're going to say. I think everyone's thinking it. It's time to kick
a
on.
lot of money with a lot of big names.
It's time to kick on.
But also, it is Fernando Alonso with Honda again.
Yep.
Which never ends well.
No, and it's Lance Stroll behind a W11 F1 car.
Hey, don't diss Lance.
Which very rarely ends well.
It never ends well. Obviously, this is the first newie Aston Martin, which is very exciting, but it's whether those two can capitalise on it more. I think Alonso would have the capability to, even if he is like 306 years old.
I said a couple pods ago, and I think it remains true. Adrian Newey has never designed a bad car. I don't think. I think every car that's got his name on it has been fast. So there's no reason to say that car won't be fast. That's just where I'm thinking. That's it's basically an open checkbook. So budget's not an issue. You've got the brains of him. Plus, I know they've poached a bunch of other people as well, which unfortunately I can't name. But it is just the driver lineup. I'm really not sold on that driver lineup. I can't believe we're going into our 5th season of it.
We're gonna do driver predictions, but they need, and if you love Fernando Alonso or not, they need to just change everything, don't they?
I'd like to see it. I mean, it's so annoying.
It's not going to happen.
You see, other drivers, we're saying, Pierre Gasly is going to be out on his ear next year if he's not careful. He'd be great as a second driver in that team.
Oh, 100%. He's that. He's not going to light the world on fire. He's probably not going to win you a world championship, but he's more than likely going to get you consistently good finishes.
But until they change things up with the driver lineup, I'm not sure they'll be that successful.
Thoughts on Honda? Predictions?
It'd be all right.
I think they might be a surprise little package.
Maybe reliability might be a concern. I know that has crept in before.
Yeah, they were okay with Red Bull towards the end, weren't they?
I know they did have teething issues, but they've had all that Red Bull development, so...
And also they were only supplying one car.
Yeah. You know what, I don't think we have reason to kind of indicate that they won't be competitive.
No, and historically, apart from that McLaren Honda are a very good engine supplier. They won, 4 world titles with Red Bull. When they were that weird hybrid of Honda and Red Bull powertrains. But yeah, I think Aston Martin, I'm not going to call it make or break, but I am going to call it make or break.
It's just time, isn't it? It's time to kick on. It's
now. They are Williams with more expectations, in my opinion.
Yes.
They've bigged up this 2026 year and season of this is going to be our year, and now if they don't deliver, then you've got to look at all the money they've put into it and go, well, why?
Imagine what they're like. If we're saying this, if everyone's saying this, imagine what their shareholders are thinking, because they'll be like us but worse. They're waiting.
Yeah, but the problem is their shareholders is one of the driver's dad.
Oh no, but from what I've read, they've got plenty of little offshoots there.
Oh, they will be under huge pressure to perform this year.
Yeah,
probably the most to perform, even more than a certain car in red.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going in order of what I think will be in performance. So we'll hop over to Red Bull. It's a very nice looking car.
I think it's lovely. I love the shiny.
A proper 2010s vibes in it.
Yeah, it's really nice. I think they smashed it.
I think it might be a tractor.
Oh, it's difficult. I think they'll develop. I think it won't be too quick for the first half, but I trust Red Bull. I trust them.
It's not good when Lauren Mackey's coming out saying you've got to give us time. We're not going to be good for the first few months.
Yeah, and that's not what you really want to hear if you're Max Verstappen either.
No, and speaking of Verstappen. Obviously, it's died down a lot now. They have to keep hold of him.
I'd love it if he went to Merc. I'd love it.
I think he will.
You know, I think
don't give it 3 rounds, it'll all come back out.
I think he might as well.
And again, we've mentioned it loads. The 2027 driver market will probably be the best we've seen in a while, because I think there is a number of drivers who will be on the move, and a number of high-profile drivers on the move.
Yeah, it's a contract year as well, isn't it? A lot of people are out.
Yeah, a lot of them are up to 26, aren't they? And then see how they do, and then bid them off. Obviously partnered by Mr. Isaac Hadjar. Very excited to see how he performs.
Yeah, I'm actually sad.
Oh, why are you sad?
Because I just don't think it'll be any good. I know he's good.
Call me mental, right? And this might not make any sense, but I think them being worse might be better overall, because it gives them even if like the first, I don't know, when they get to that sort of European stage of the season, after like it's like usually after about 6 or 8 rounds, if they get to that and they like higher midfield, bottom of the like best teams, it gives Hadjar an opportunity to get used to the car with very little expectations, so they can sort of write that off. And then if they do develop, like you said, it then just gives him more confidence to grow into the car, to grow into performance, and he won't suffer the same sort of issues that they've had with drivers in the past. But it is interesting. Have they built the car on Verstappen again, knowing if they're going to be slow?
I really like your thinking there. I like that point of view, and I think you could be right.
I think that's how they have to approach this year. They know they're not. Then, not to ruin any predictions for you, they know they're not going to win the championship either. In my opinion, they just have to sort of accept that it's not a card you want. But when you're making your own engine for the first time in a new regulation, and you've lost your chief designer, who's one of the best of all time, you could lose one of the best drivers of all time if you don't perform. You sort of have to say you've got to make the best out of a worse situation and just use this year for learning. They've got enough in the bank to sort of not be like, oh my god, we're gonna finish 3rd in the constructors, it's the end of Red Bull, we need to sell up. I think they do just need to take like a sort of gap year.
But on the other hand, do you take gap years when you got Max Verstappen? Because
I've got a prediction about Max, and many people are not going to like it.
When you've got the best driver in like the 2020s in your team, and you know he's like top of his game, top 5 ever, you don't just take rest years, because his agent, they don't take rest years.
I don't think he wins a race this year.
That's crazy.
And it's mental to say, but I don't think he does.
I'm not on that with you. You better clip that.
I will clip it 100%. But we saw it. Red Bull, the only regulation change they've been good at was 2022. 2014 they were dreadful after coming off 4 years of dominance.
Yeah, well the one before that they were good. Obviously, the Seb era.
Yeah, 2009, 2010. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to that. But also, I just don't think their powertrain is going to be good enough, and I think reliability could really hurt them.
Yeah, I'm not going to say you're incorrect, because what you're saying has got logic behind it. But
it just does sound mental to say, doesn't it?
I don't. I'm not rocking with Max not winning. I think he's too good. I think he will. I'm not saying he'll be front runner all the time, but I think he'll win.
Reef reckons he's going to win the World Championship.
Oh, yeah.
Right, let's talk about your favourite team.
Yeah.
The Shambles in red.
Yeah. I think it'll be more of the same, I gotta be honest.
Their race suits look quite nice.
Oh, it's great. They'll look pretty when they're sacked.
Yeah, they won the World Championship in race suits. Yeah. If reports are to be believed, it's another year of nothing.
I think it'll be sort of the same, sort of bang average. Maybe to a degree a little bit quicker. Maybe instead of 7th and 8th, they can fight for 4th and 5th. But I think they'll be
pretty much the exact same where they were last year. That they could snatch the odd podium, but they're not going to be anywhere near quick enough.
West Lewis' last year in the sport.
Shock. I think they're going to get rid of both of them. Well, I think both of them are going to get rid of Ferrari.
Too early for Charles, I think.
I don't
Like
think it is.
too early to say it. I mean, I agree. I'd like to see him go somewhere else, but I think Lewis is done no matter what.
Yeah, and at least they have that natural step up as long as Bayman does perform.
Yeah, we'll keep the sort of driver lineups close
Yeah,
to our chest, but
but
yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about them because I just I can't see them. I can't see them performing, even though 2 years ago they should have just chalked it up as a failure and put everything into these regs. I'm not quite sure they did.
no, 100% not. They tried. Like last year, they kept developing the car, which made no sense.
Yeah.
When McLaren and Red Bull both had pretty much rocket ships, and Ferrari were just managing to screw themselves over every race. So it made no sense to carry on developing. But that's Ferrari for you.
Now you look, if they held on to Lewis or if Lewis held on to them, we could be going into 26 and he could have been lined up for a final championship.
This is going to sound mental. Do you reckon they're regretting the Lewis decision?
Yeah, I think Ferrari are, yeah. You see the wage
Yeah.
bill.
The wage bill. I don't think you can call that a bill.
Size of his contract alone. I mean, all right, commercially they'd have done well out of it. So you got to think from a business standpoint. I'm sure they're fine, but the contract, the hype behind it, also just the pressure. I don't know Lewis personally, obviously, but he doesn't sound
Really? You don't know Lewis Hamilton personally?
he doesn't sound like someone that takes being bad well.
Yeah, he's got a new racing engineer this year. They finally got rid of Ricardo Adami.
So I just think, yeah, I think they're probably regretting it on all sides. Yeah,
It's a shame because it's the biggest driver move we've had in the sport, and it felt destined in a weird way that like it was the final step for Lewis, but it just has not worked out at all, and it won't work out in my opinion.
me neither.
Mercedes,
Yep.
interesting.
I think
Will they be quickest? Will they not be quickest?
I'll say now. I think people expect them to be quick because I've had in my house, my housemates have said that George Russell title charge is on.
I might have to agree with people.
Um,
I don't think.
I'll say not. This isn't from me. This is from people I live with. That they would rather back a George Russell versus a Lando Norris in a wheel-to-wheel fight.
See, people just don't have wheel knowledge, do they?
So we'll see. I mean, I think they'll be the quickest car, and I think George will be up there. I just don't know. I think I'm just doubting him. I just don't know if he's got that sort of championship. Oh, he might do.
We said that about Lando,
We did, and then he won one.
and then he did the thing.
Maybe I just don't like Brits.
No, you don't.
Do you
know what? I just genuinely think you don't like F1 drivers.
No, I don't know what it is.
No, I think they'll be. I think it'll be close. I think we'll have a not a competition. Wrong way. I think we'll have like a performance sort of battle that's like is similar to 2021 in my opinion, where it's like almost too close to call, but at certain tracks there'll be like a tenth or two difference. And I think the only thing, in my opinion, that might hinder Mercedes is the fact that George will probably be fighting on his own, because I just don't think Kimi will be that developed yet for a title fight. Don't get me wrong, I think he'll be quick, and I think he'll be towards the front, but I think if you're putting him against a Lando and an Oscar, I just think he's not developed to that level, he's that sort of tier below.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kimi Antonelli's going to win races this year.
Oh yeah, 100%. I can see him having an even better year, a more consistent year, and cementing himself as a front runner. Obviously, there'll be stuff about drivers leaving, so it's a big year for him. But I think he'll put his stake forward to be in the future of the sport.
Yeah, I I'm excited because in my head I'm picturing a bit like what you're saying, a proper Mercedes power units for the pair of them, but we've got like a McLaren versus Mercedes
Yeah,
dogfight, 2v2 most weekends. I'm really expecting that, and
it's not.
I'm looking forward to it.
The more we say of them, that it's not going to happen, is it?
I and I think it'll be one of those where, like you're saying, it'll be flip and flappy. Like certain ones will be better at certain tracks, the other ones will be better at other tracks. But I'm excited for like the swaps. Like I've got a feeling, depending on the track, Piastri could be first in one race, then next weekend he could be fourth.
Yeah, like I mentioned 2021. The obvious difference there was it was two drivers at the front, whereas I think it could be like a 3 or 4 way fight.
And that's an exciting prospect. I mean, no doubt we'll be let down, but
No doubt George Russell will win it by the summer break.
imagine that he just absolutely pisses it. That would be so anticlimactic.
What a way to welcome the new regulations.
But yeah, no, I'm excited, and I do not know who I'd back in that situation.
Um,
I think we should save that.
Yeah, we'll go into that further. But I have a weird prediction for Mercedes. I think this might be the last year of Toto.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
obviously he sold his stake, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I can just see, we've spoke about this before, I can just see him taking that natural progression into like a F1 ambassador sort of role.
I'll give you
something.
one reason why.
Why?
I'll give you one reason why. 2 words.
Is it Kimi Antonelli?
Verstappen 27.
Oh, but he could, because he's got some sort of love affair with Verstappen, hasn't he?
Verstappen 27, that bloke. Oh, he's staying round. He's staying round.
There will be, I will give it 4 or 5 rounds, and the Verstappen to Mercedes flirting will happen again.
Oh,
There
no
will
doubt.
there will be yachts being tracked, people will track planes again.
Yeah, what, the 2 yachts off Italy, wasn't it?
Oh, that was such a weird. There was genuine. If you go back, if anyone's new to this podcast, by the way, if you go back to like the midway point of last season, we went for about 4 weeks of just saying Verstappen is going to Mercedes, and then it was like, yeah, he's not anymore.
I'm so disappointed. Oh, imagine
We were
now,
like-
though, coming up to this year with him at Merc.
Yeah, we were like, Max is going there, George is going to Red Bull, Charles is going to go to like McLaren. And then it was like, yeah, no one's moving anywhere.
Oh, no, but that's all in due course, though. It's going to happen.
Hey, it's all good. Hey, it's been manifested. But yeah, I think it could. I don't know. I do get what you mean, but I would not like to see someone else take charge of Mercedes. But also, I think Toto is just the most sensible person to go for Ben Sulayem's job because he is a tool. Time to get blacklisted from F1. McLaren.
Much of the same, I think. I think that. I mean, do you give Mercedes the upper hand because of the Mercedes power unit, or do you?
I don't know. They got papaya rules again, haven't they?
Yeah, and just think, they've put a lot into the last 2 years. So with the development wise, with aero and stuff, I'd give the upper hand to Mercedes, performance wise.
Performance-wise I would, but driver-wise, I think I'd give it to McLaren.
Yeah, I think it'll be much of the same. I think they'll both be really good. They'll both win multiple races. They'll both be up there.
I think it's a big year for them, but I think it's a bigger year for Piastri.
Yeah, I think
He needs some sort of bounce back, doesn't he? From obviously his, that's not a capitulation, his like fall off towards last year.
I don't know. I think I'm expecting much of the same, but if things do go south, it could be the beginning of the end of their relationship.
Yeah,
That
and
partnership.
do you reckon they go for the full papaya rules thing again?
Yeah,
Oh, why?
I think they will.
I don't want them to.
Or maybe not. Maybe Piastri said, or maybe they both said, because it did both of them harm. Right.
It ruined, but it at different points, like we spoke about extensively last year, they should have wrapped that title up with 4 or 5 rounds to go.
They might have both collectively said, right, it hurt us both last year. Neither of us particularly enjoyed it. whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, that would be the logical thing, wouldn't it? But from a team point of view, you're not going to go absolutely knock 12 bells out of each other.
Yeah, it's true.
And just race each other and then take each other out every other weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they'll do. Obviously we got Lando Norris number 1, by the way.
Yeah, looking to go back to back.
Yay. Can he do it?
He very could well do.
Very could well. That's a new one.
He could very well do.
Doing very well could.
Yeah, one of them.
Sports journalism, ladies and gentlemen.
He could. He's quite well poised to do so, I'd say.
Any interesting predictions for McLaren?
Particularly.
I think they go mental with their livery. I reckon they bring back Chrome.
Championship Chrome. That would be so good. If they're going to do it, they should do it now.
Well, you have to have they changed the rules, haven't they? You've got to have, is it 55% your car painted?
Yeah. I don't know the percentage, but I know you have to have your car painted.
Yeah, I'm sure it was either 50 or 55 or something. And Haas just went, no, we'll have 95% painted.
Oh, yeah, just bring the Chrome back.
Chrome?
I'd love that. I really would.
Yeah. Well, I think we've covered everything. We've given you everyone on the grid, all the teams, gone through everything. So yeah, I can't exactly tell you what next week is going to be because we don't really know yet. I can't name the exact days the liveries are going to come out either because they weirdly spread out and they're not doing the big event this year, are they? Which makes I actually quite like that last year. That was quite fun.
I didn't watch it. I watched the first time they did it.
They only did it once.
No, they did it more than once.
Well, the F-175 thing.
Okay, right. I watched it last year then because I definitely watched it once.
Yeah, it was last year.
Right, yeah, I did watch it.
When they had Jack Whitehall presenting it.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
No, me neither, because he was just making jokes and they didn't really land. But yeah, we hope you have enjoyed this episode of the Push to Pass F1 podcast. Something a bit different, but we are slowly ticking through the off-season. It's not getting long now. We're nearing towards that first weekend in March, so it is really exciting. If you're listening on Spotify, don't forget to drop us a 5-star rating and a follow. It's greatly appreciated. If you're listening on YouTube, drop us a like, drop us a subscribe. Check out some of the other videos we've done so far. The support on the YouTube channel has been absolutely immense, so it is greatly appreciated. As always, I have been Max.
And I've been Reith.
And this has been the Push to Pass F1 podcast.